Elastic Heart, taking us to 2:22 p.m. East Africa time. Thank you so much for choosing Hero Radio, and to be precise, Hero Drive with me, Kate Vorbeck, and it's that time whereby we talk about love under the Vorbeck's Palace. I'm joined by Dr. Love,
Hello.
Councillor Sam,
Hi.
and one of our listeners, that is Shiro. And God willing, every Wednesday we'll be having a listener who will be telling us more of his or her experience. And today we want to talk about something that is very good but still disturbing. Why is it that after some time, after dating and you settle together, things change and you never do the things you both used to do, e.g. texting, calling, and the love seems to fade away? So I'll allow Dr. Love maybe to take us through, and then he'll be the one to introduce the listener who may be where to.
First of all, I want to appreciate our listeners for actually joining us this very moment. As we've always said, we love them, and they are the reason as to why we are here. And I'm happy, especially for those who've been coming and talking to me most of the times. And I want to thank Shiro for taking her time to come and join us. And in regard to this question, basically, it's good for our listeners to know that each process that happens in people's lives have stages, and love is not an exception. So love has its own levels of the process of love has its own stages. And before Shiro comes in, I would like to let the listeners know that love has 3 stages. One of the stages is lust. The other one is attraction, and the final one is attachment. So during lust is when you realize that these 2 lovebirds are so widely in love. Their desire is so high.
Maybe before you tell us more about all these, what is lust? Many people, and I saw a quote you had written today, I don't know if I'm right, love exists above the belt, while lust exists below the belt. So what's the difference between love and lust?
Lust is whereby the individual is governed so much by what they are lusting about this person. Especially, lust is a stage where there is a lot of dominance and sex is involved so much. That's why we say lust is actually below the belt, So basically, lust is more of sex, some sort of like sex addiction, You are so much dominated by sex. You fantasize so much with the body of your opposite sex. And eventually you end up getting intimate. Most of the time you're always intimate. And you realize you're actually not being intimate because you love each other. It's because you are lasting for each other. You either
there's something you want.
You have been attached to this person due to either their physical outlook. There's something that has attracted you so much to these people. And so how you appreciate them by telling you look beautiful is by giving into sex. And that is where you will find even people when they go out for their first dates, you realize in their first dates, they will have sex. Second date, they have sex. In the third date, they break out.
Things start fading out.
Things start fading out because now you are not actually doing the right thing. You are just trying to quench your sexual thirst.
Are you trying to say that for your relationship maybe to mature in the right way, avoid sex day one?
I would really prefer you avoid sex entirely until you get married.
You're talking to Nakuru people.
Okay, if you can't avoid
Kenyans.
it completely, let dating stage be what we call the window shopping period, where you get to understand your partner well. This is where you get to know who they are, their likes, their dislikes, what are their hobbies, how do they lead their life, and so many things about them. Then, after dating, we move to the stage we call courting. That is when now you get seriously into business of wanting to know this person's parents, where they live, how do they conduct themselves, how do they relate in their family, and that is where now you visit the family. And then after courtship, you think about proposing. So last is a stage where you are just dominated by
and it cannot develop to marriage.
Definitely.
So Shiro, maybe I ask you, you're married, you're newlywed, and did you go through these stages that Dr. Love is talking about, like courting, or tell us the truth, were you caught up on sex the first day?
Not really. I'm actually a very traditional woman. So it was it was dating like complete dating for long.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I knew him completely, that's when things happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, going out on dates, him asking me out so many times, and I say no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, until I knew him after 1 year. That's when I said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So, Dr. Love, quoting, for how long should I quote? You know, me and you could quote more than, okay, let me not say me. For how long should one quote?
Actually, dating and courting has no definite period or time, yeah? Because it depends with what exactly do you want to know about this other person. You know, when you're dating, it's like you are setting the standard. This is the standards. This is where you're actually laying the foundation for your relationship. So this is the period within which you want to learn as much details about your friend or your wife to be or your husband to be more, and you know it can take as much time as you would want it to, because like you hear Shiro has said it took 1 year. You'll find others will date for 7 years, and if you ask them why, they'll have their own way of justifying. I wanted to know this much about this lady. I wanted to be aware about their virtues, their qualities, their values, their beliefs, and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So dating and courting has no definite time that we can say date for 1 year. But it is always good, and I would encourage our listeners, it's always good for you to get to know this person well enough for you to really move to the other stage.
So we just tackled the last. We're just about to do attraction and attachment. And to the listeners, I can see there are people who are already in. I have Sammy Moore from the Vobix Palace. Say, Kate, please tell Dr. Love I'm happy because his advice make it to my cheek. And then someone saying, hello, Kate, Dr. Love and Shiro. I love your show. Listening from my place of work. I'm Maria Aida. So anything you want to tell us, your experience or any question, post them on 0713 999 227. SMS me or call me there, or go to the Vobix Palace, like the page, then the interaction is going on there. We are just asking, why is it that after dating and you settle together, things change and you never do things both the way you used to do, e.g. texting, calling, and the lovey-dovey things start fading away. And that's why we have Dr. Love. We were just introducing it, and then we'll come back and tutakita mizizi hapo. 0713 999 227 or 0708 13 13 35. My name is Kate Vobek, together with DJ CJ, joined by the Love Doctor, Counselor Sam.
Hi.
And our listener, Shiro.
Hello.
Okay, and today we are talking about something that is affecting all of us. And why is it that after dating and you settle down, there are things that start changing, like texting and calling. And Dr. Love, that's where now I throw everything to you. You started by saying there are 3 things, and you tackled lust. So we have lust, attraction, and attachment.
Yeah, now when we get to attraction, this is where now the two individuals have strong feelings for each other. And that is the time they develop what we call craving. They just want to be with each other. You realize from the point of lust to the point of attraction, there's a lot of communication. They always want to feel they are talking to each other. There's something they are sharing. It may not even be interesting, but to them, it looks very interesting. So during attraction, that is when they start now talking about the looks of someone's looks, how their voices are, how their walking style are, how their dressing is. You know, everything about this person is compounded to attraction. And during this time, that's when they feel they have very strong feeling towards each other, and they even forget to eat and they forget to sleep. That is why you'll hear a guy or a lady telling you, I spent a sleepless night thinking about you.
Is that true?
It's always true, because that is a stage. They have this strong feeling that takes away almost all their basic rights, including sleep and doing everything normally the way they used to do. That very strong feeling. You know, there's a time I asked someone, how can you describe the power that is found in love? Because it is equated to the same power that kills. You know, the power of death. Love is very strong to a point where it drives someone so crazy they almost forget themselves. And when they forget themselves, you can imagine someone who's forgotten himself or herself. They also forget things that are around them. You realize you'll have a friend, Kate. You live in the same room. You're sharing. She's your counterpart. And when she's in love with someone, you start even quarreling because she doesn't have so much attention towards you because her strong feelings are now towards the new person who has come into their life, who is sharing what makes them feel comfortable and feel contented. It is during this period of attachment, of attraction, that they start finding out the values that complement each other. Yeah, that is when you'll hear, what do you like? I like fish. Oh, I also like. What a coincidence! You know, they have those
And
kind
you
of.
wongo.
Now yet sometimes it's uongo, yeah. So
Now why should you lie? Maybe we'll stay together and I'll notice you don't love fish.
but you see now, when now you settle, as you're saying, that's when you start realizing the real individual whom you
Yeah.
courted, dating, and dated, and then married. Yeah, that is when now you get to know the true colors. And I believe Shiro will tell us that during the attraction stage, that is when there was a lot of communication, and they would even schedule so many meetings so that at least they can have time together. Anytime she will feel that the boyfriend is not around, she will feel like insecure. She'll want to know his whereabouts, what is happening with his life, whom is he with, and all these questions, as they are triggered in the mind,
Okay.
she will pick the phone,
Okay.
call. Yeah.
So Shiro, let's go to you. For how long have you been married again?
For 1 year, 8
For 1 year,
months.
8 months. And before we talk about now the other stage of fading out, let's talk about the attraction part. How was it? Since you've told us about the last, how was your attraction part? You know, you calling each other, you know, you're still in a lovey-dovey mood. How was it?
Honestly, it was the best part of my life to start with. I used to love every single excitement when you know, when someone calls you, someone you love, how you just grab the phone, pick it, you're so happy. Yeah, the text, we used to text each other each and every time. It couldn't pass an hour before I call him or he calls me. There are things like that, so many things, going out, dinner, and just there's so much excitement that moment.
In that moment.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll be telling us how they faded out because I'm so much eager. I'm so much eager, although it's not a laughing matter. But so, Dr. Love, for how long, maybe in your experience, for how long does this take, the attraction period?
This is a stage that actually takes the very shortest time.
Oh God,
Because
I know it's
this-
so sweet.
Yeah, this is where people don't want, they feel they need to hold this person so close to them almost every day, and they don't want to lose them. And so this is where the issue of proposing comes in. Will you marry me?
Yeah, because you don't want to leave
Yeah,
this
you
person.
don't want to leave this person.
Yes.
And so
And you don't want someone else to come and grab the person away from
actually,
you.
when they start thinking this is the right time for me to marry this person, then that's where they start thinking about or preparing themselves to propose.
Maybe
yeah?
a quick one.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why so many marriages are not standing right now firm? Because that attraction feeling, they were not even ready for marriage. But since you've proposed and you've started going to the parents and asking for the hand in marriage, no turning back.
Mostly, I would go back to dating. You know, like dating is the foundation to a strong marriage because mostly you realize when people are dating and then they take so much time, or much of their dating period is in the last stage. Yeah. Then what happens is that they become so they fantasize so much about each other's bodies, and they feel like if I'm feeling this goodness with this person due to having sex with them, then I think they're the right people. You know, you make the wrong decision at the wrong stage, in the wrong stage.
And it's the decision that you'll stay with it forever.
And you see, they don't even have time to think how long that decision may affect them in their lives. So what I would say is, during the dating stage is not the right period for you to think about marrying someone. That is the time for you to really understand who this person is. Then in the attraction period, that is when now you are able to understand your own personal strengths in regard to loving. Because now you are loving, you are in love. This is when now you are identifying your own strengths, you are able to know your own weaknesses, and how do you control them. That is where now you factorize in the issues of how you can manage a relationship. This is not when you start thinking about marrying as per se, but this is the time you are realizing your own weaknesses, your own strengths. What are the factors to consider when you want to marry a lady or you want to get married to a guy? And what are the repercussions? Am I ready to take the responsibility? It all happens during the attraction stage. And that is when now again the love is so high. You know, they feel like they're the only people at the peak of the world. Yeah. Then again, you realize their eyes are blind. You know, they are clouded by this love again. They don't think straight.
I think I just need to be in that mood for like 3 minutes before you drop me down with Shiro and sleep. You know, us who are not married, we just need to fantasize in that feeling of attraction. I know it may not last, but then we'll come and read some of the SMSs that the listeners are saying. But if you ask me, and I'm sure every lady out there just wants to be in that attraction mood of like, hold me for only 3 minutes.
They can maintain it as long as they want, because even after marriage, it doesn't mean the attraction stage has to fade away. You can still work for it and, you know, still have it working with you. Yeah.
Then we'll come back and you tell us how to hold on to that attraction before we go to attachment, and then maybe we'll call it a day. But right now, me, I just want to be in that mood. I don't know about the other lady listeners, but I just want to be in that mood. So we'll be coming back. Keep sending your questions to 0713 That's a call or SMS line, or go to the Vobix Palace, like the page, and follow the interaction there. Right now, this love song, Datisha. It's a nice jam, by the way. I just had to hang in on there. Calvo Mistari featuring Hussein Machozi, Datisha. And it's taking us to 2:50 p.m. East Africa time. Hero Drive with me, Kate Vobic, and DJ CJ. And I'm hanging out with Dr. Love Counselor Sam.
Hi.
And one of our listeners, that is Shiro.
Hello.
And someone is saying, thanks, Shiro, for sharing some of your stories with us. By the way, we are learning. I'm a newlywed. Hi, Nitiara, but niko na swali different. I have a guy, but he never talks of breaking up. Tukikosana kidogo hivi, anasema tuachane. He says he's in love. He says he loves me, but I doubt. What could be the problem? I am confused because he always talks of that kila time tumekuwa na misunderstanding. Niko Naka. And then the second question, then we go back to the topic. Hi Vobik, salimia wageni kwa studio, sana sana Dr. Love, salimiwa. Pamoja na Shiro. Anasema, I have an issue. I love my guy so much. We are married, but he has 2 jobs. One in Nakuru, the other one in Nairobi. And the one in Nairobi, they go countrywide. When he's in Nakuru, he's that lovey-dovey guy. Can call me names and make sure that we go all around Nakuru holding hands. But as soon as he's in Nairobi, my guy cannot say via phone, I love you too. He will drop the phone and text me, I love you too. And when they go to the outside jobs, outside country, the same will happen. I'm suspecting he's dating a colleague. Am I right? Dr. Love.
Those are very good questions, and I think they're just bringing out the essence of what exactly happens in relationships. Now, answering the second question about the guy who has 2 jobs, I wouldn't want to say that her instincts are right, in as much I don't want her to doubt herself. What I would say is this normally happens with men who have 2 relationships. I'm sorry to say this, because when he comes home, he's trying to hide something that happens when he's not at home by being so loving to you. And so if you do not take enough measures to understand exactly what transpires in his life out there, then you are in for a rude shock. I can honestly tell you as a man that men will always try as much as possible, if they have an extramarital affair out there, to hide it in the best way that they know how, by calling you all the lovely names when they are close to you and doing the best things when they are close to you. So rather than you thinking, like reading between the lines, just sit down with him and ask him, what is happening in your life? Can you just, be an open book? Let me understand exactly how do you work there, and how comes when you are not with me, the communication is like not as effective as when we are together, so that at least you can understand exactly what transpires in his life. One thing I'm very sure, he will become very, very defensive. He will say, and he will even ask you, do you doubt me, or is it that you are suspecting me of something? That tells you immediately something is happening in his relationship.
Okay.
Because he's actually giving you an idea of exactly what is happening.
Okay, you always say I'm judgmental, but I'm sorry,
It's
but I
okay.
just have to say this. Eh?
Yeah.
Or might if the guy tries to answer the question in this way, you know, I'm at work, I'm a boss there, or I work with colleagues. I wouldn't want to say I love you in front of them because maybe what the job entails. You know, it's not every job like being a presenter, being a counselor, whereby off air I can tell someone or in between the colleagues, I love you too. So if he tries to play around with, when I'm around my colleagues, I keep my relationship away. Can that be?
How much time do you take to write a statement like "I love you too"? How much time will it take? A phone is your private device. If you write something, even your workmates will not know what you've written.
You didn't get the question, Dr. Love. The lady will say, I love you, baby. There's like, maybe there's a hang, you know, or I'll talk to you later. And then immediately there's an SMS, I love you too. Don't you think something is fishy there?
Okay, maybe there is what she's used to from her husband. And she's used to like her husband maybe taking some time before replying. And until she understands the nature of his job, that's when she can always be able to know he answered this fast because he's committed or he's doing something with colleagues. Yeah, because I imagine the I love you too, possibly if it happens maybe during the night, this guy is supposed to be asleep somewhere. So if it just happens immediately, it's like to tell you I'm busy trying to do something or I'm committed with something, so I need my space. Yeah, but now unfortunately she's reading this from a blank space. This is a gray area that she's trying to figure out what exactly could be happening. And that is the reason I'm saying, rather than her getting into the stressful situation of trying to jump into conclusion, let her talk to her husband. Ask your husband, face on, like you look at him and ask him, when I write you text, you reply almost immediately. His body language will tell you exactly what he means by whatever he's going to utter with his mouth. Because if he's defensive, the body will tell you that I am very defensive about what I do, and my mouth is just going to lie to you.
Ouch, that one hurts.
Yeah. But I don't mean that she becomes very, very, she attacks her husband. And when I say attacking her husband, I don't mean that she becomes over her husband. I just want her to start learning things slowly by inquiring from the husband to learn exactly what exactly transpires in this husband's life. Because honestly, I can always be able to tell a relationship can work only if there is strong and effective communication.
That's true.
And if it is not happening, then it leaves room for doubts, suspicion, and accusations.
Okay, quickly maybe to the other question, and then we'll go back to attraction
Just
or how
remind
to
me,
hold.
the first question
The
was,
first question was, let me just go to the SMS again. Hi, ni Tierra, but niko na swali different. I have a guy, but he ever talks of breaking up. Tukikosana kidogo hivi, anasema tuachane. He says he loves me, but I doubt. What could be the problem? I am confused because he always talks of that kila time. Tumekuwa na misunderstanding. Nikonaka.
now I think with this listener, the main issue here is about how they manage their conflicts. Yeah, and I think the guy has a problem or has no enough skills to deal with conflicts in a relationship. And when I say this, because if you look at how he was brought up from his background, maybe you realize that there was a lot of infighting in the family, and the only way they knew how to handle issues were either to withdraw or deal with them face on by telling you exactly what is crossing their mind. And when I am brought up in a family where there is a lot of conflicts and I'm not shown how to deal with these conflicts, I do not gather enough skills on how to manage conflicts. And so I will then project the same to my partner. So this means I'm more governed by my anger than reason, okay? And so he needs to actually understand, how does he manage anger? You don't manage anger by withdrawing. You manage anger by understanding exactly what are the issues that are causing me to be angry. And again, anger is brought about by the idea of losing control over something. So anytime that you confront him and he feels like he's losing control of that relationship, he will definitely threaten you by telling you, let's break up. Yeah. And so because you love him and you believe he loves you, then you will have to work for that relationship, giving him enough leeway to continue doing the same things he's been doing before. Yeah.
So Shiro, maybe you just tell us quickly, how do you tackle your conflicts? Maybe it's normal to argue or to feel bad when your husband has done something, but how do you handle your conflicts, the two of you?
Honestly, I'm not the talking type. So when we argue,
we've learned that.
Yeah, when we argue, I just keep quiet. So I just keep quiet, give him the silent treatment. I know it sounds mean, but I just keep quiet, and he'll see there's something wrong. That's when he just sits down and wants us to talk. You know, when I raise my voice and tell him that this is what is happening, he won't sit down and listen to me. But when I keep quiet, just humble, and
He
he'll
knows something
realize,
is wrong.
yeah, and come and sit down and talk.
Dr. Love, maybe quickly before we go to attachment, then we call it a day. And last week you talked about cold treatment, and you said it's not the best way. So since she has noticed that Shiro has an issue, I don't want to argue with you. I'm not the arguing type. So learn it from me. Read my back, learn from my attitude. I want to be quiet. So what do you maybe tell Shiro and the likes?
You know something?
Because I think I have the same problem.
Yeah, something interesting about men is the moment you give them a silent treatment, they also keep quiet, because they are reserved creatures. They will also keep quiet, and they will start thinking, oh, I offended Shiro. They will not look at the issue. They look at the offense they made to this lady. So what happens, they now start reconciling by either calling you beautiful names, calling you closer to them. And from anymore. That, you know, ladies are also passionate. They feel like, oh, this guy.
And they're moved by what they hear.
Yeah. So eventually, he wins you. Remember, a man is compared to a hunter. And every time he's hunting, he's trying to ensure that his territory is safe. Okay? So anytime you confront him, he will approach the matter in the most egoistic way, in the masculinity perspective, so that eventually he ends up winning. That is the reason you'll find ladies, in as much as they will be wronged, eventually they'll end up, seeking for forgiveness.
And he was the one who was wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not the one who is wrong.
Yeah, it's because the man always wants to show you he's in control. So for you to drive sense to this man, rather than even arguing, okay, I appreciate Shiro for giving the silent treatment.
Yes.
But I believe Shiro will also tell us that after some time, she gets back to him, and in a very, very humble way, she explains where she got hurt. And this man is now listening, because he has already reconciled with his thought that he offended Shiro without really determining the wrong itself. He just sees the offense he did to the lady.
Okay, let's go for music break. We have like some few minutes, then we come and talk about attachment, and then we'll call it a day. Taylor Swift's Tyler taking us to 3:05 p.m. East Africa time. Just wrapping up with the Vobic's Palace. My name is Kate Vobic, and I'm joined by Dr. Love, Counselor Sound. Sorry, and Shiro, our listener.
Hello.
And to the listeners, I have so many questions for you, Dr. Love, and maybe we may not be able to tackle all of them, but I will give out your number and still send people to our page, that is the Vobic's Palace, and they can talk. So we talked about lust, attraction, and attachment. And maybe you've just joined us. We're talking about something that is very important and affecting all of us. Why is it that after some time, after dating and you settle together, things start changing, like e.g. texting, calling, and the love seems to fade away? You talked about lust, attraction. So quickly, how can you hold attraction? Then tell us about attachment.
Now, when we are in the process of attachment and we have fully understood about our partner, then we develop the attachment stage. That is when now you bond, because you realize you have so many complementing factors, either your beliefs, your principles, your values, your personality, and that other person's personality are matching well enough, then you develop what we call a bond. Now, when you develop a bond, you become now safe. You get into what we call a comfort zone. That so and so is my lover, and I expect the best from them and nothing more.
He or she's not going anywhere.
They are not going anywhere. I've won over them. So everything, now I'm in control. Okay? So that's when now you either propose to marry or get married or you cohabit, yeah. Then when you cohabit,
You do what?
You cohabit. Come we stay.
Okay, I didn't want to use that. I'm laughing.
Come we stay. So after now you design your relationship into whatever nature you want it to be like, either marriage, cohabiting, come we stay, or whatever. Then you are in a comfort zone and you start feeling, I am the only person in this person's life. And so from there, things will start changing. Because one, remember, a man is a hunter. He's like a lion, and he's hunting there a gazelle. The moment it is within its territory, it has no worries. It has it. Why should it continue hunting for it? Now, remember, when you're hunting for something or you want something, you desire something so much, you put more effort into how you will achieve this. Remember, now you'll have gone through the last stage, the attraction stage, and now you are in the attachment stage, which means you have now conquered. Okay? As a man, the moment you have conquered, what will happen is now you have the lady in your house, you have the lady in your life, then you have no worries anymore. You can walk out there and comfortably tell people, I'm married, I have someone in my house. And so for that reason, you don't give so much attention to communication, because now there is what we call a change or a shift of attention. You start now focusing on other things, yeah, without laying more emphasis to the lady. Unfortunately, with the ladies, they expect the same to continue happening. So you realize during dating, last and attraction stage, the man always initiates the communication. But after the attachment, after bonding, the lady will be the one to initiate.
Just hold it there. Shiro, this is where now we come to you. I understand you're facing some challenges in your marriage because now you're the one doing communication. How did it start until now? And have you been in that position to tell your husband, maybe I'm not comfortable with you not calling me and texting me? How did you realize that I'm a back out?
Actually, it's been 1 year, 8 months. So obviously you see things changing. Like things are not the way they used to be from how it used to be and now. So at some point I used to get comfortable thinking that this is how marriage is. This is how marriage should be. That now that I have a baby, I should be taking care of my child, and my husband is supposed to be working. And then at some point of my life, I realized something is not right. You see, when I do things, so many things for him, and he doesn't do the same for me,
you feel bad.
I feel it. That's why I decided to come to Counselor Samuel to seek advice, because there's something that needs to be fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you tried talking to your husband, or you want now to do that after talking to the counselor?
Actually, I do. I do talk to him, tell him we need to do this and that. But we do it at sometimes, and then
it
goes back to the way it was.
Back to you, Counselor Sam.
Yeah. Men are not difficult people to deal with.
They are.
They are
I'm
only,
sorry.
They are only different. Shiro, they are only different. They are uniquely different. And the way men
Did you just call them uniquely different?
Yeah, uniquely different.
Okay.
And the way they process anything is totally different from how women process what is happening in life. Because men use their left side of the brain, the left hemisphere, to process everything. And that is the reason you realize they concentrate on one item at a time. So initially, the priority was to get Shiro as the girlfriend. Then the priority changed from getting Shiro
as a girlfriend to a wife.
To a wife. Now she's a wife. The guy now changes from a hunter to a provider. Okay? Now his focus is based on providing.
Okay.
Yet Shiro, when she gets in the house, now she becomes the caretaker. Okay?
Okay, today you
So,
have names.
yeah.
Eh?
So
Left brain, hemisphere.
Yeah. So the man becomes the provider, the woman becomes the caretaker.
Okay.
Now, when you are taking care, it means your brain, the entirety of your brain is working. You are taking care of so many things. And so the woman is capable of spotting those gray areas, the flaws that are happening, by noticing that now there is no much communication, there is no much going out for dates. Sit down with the man and he will tell you, I'm very sure Shiro will tell you that if you ask a man, why are you not taking me out for a date? he will simply ask you, we have a kid here. He needs to dress, he needs to eat, we need house rent. And those are his priorities. Yet your priorities are totally different.
That's true.
So until both of you sit down together and mutually agree what are our priorities as a couple, then that is when now you can walk the journey together. Now, when change of priority happens, the interest fades. Okay, I am so much involved out there at work. I need to actually do my job so that at least I can get my salary at the end of the month, so that my family does not suffer. My wife is waiting for me to call her. How will I do that? Totally impossible for a man, because he's always thinking about one item at a time.
Okay.
Then after that, after the interest fades away, then boredom creeps in. When boredom creeps in, then it means communication is never relevant anymore. Yeah, if I'm leaving home in the morning and in the evening I'll still find you there, why should I waste resources calling you over the day?
Okay.
Now, it is unfortunate that men fail to understand, or a couple fails to understand, that communication makes, the relationship feel alive.
Okay.
The life of that relationship is pegged on how much you are communicating. So basically, in as much as men process things differently from how women do it, then it is very important for them to realize that that which does not affect them affects the woman.
Okay. I know I may not tell Shiro to tell us maybe any advice, because she's still in that healing process or going back. So time is not on our side. Your last word. Thank you so much, Shiro, for coming. Yeah?
You're most welcome.
Your last word, Dr. Love. How do we rekindle back and go back to the first love, and we start texting and still feel as if we are dating? Because that's the moment everyone feels as if you belong to this love world.
Now, what I can tell our listeners is, in each process, and especially in relationship, there is always an initiator and a respondent. So if you feel that communication is not happening, rather than accusing, start accounting on what you are doing you yourself. If you feel it is very necessary, and I encourage people to really communicate, take your phone, just communicate. You'll do it 2-3 days maybe without a response, but in the 4th day, definitely a response will come. Because you see, the more you initiate something, the easier it is for the other person to realize, oh, this is very important for me to attend to. So for ladies, just talk to your guys, let them know how it is good for them to continue communicating with you. Guys, give it, take it as your challenge. Make it your challenge that I need to communicate with my girl because she feels good when I talk to her. So basically, just continue communicating and continue doing those very good stuff. A lady, even if you take her out once in a year, she will appreciate. You don't necessarily need to do
it every Saturday,
every month. And basically, what I'm saying, sit down together and plan.
Okay.
Look at your resources. Do they allow you to continue having that vibrant communication in terms of calling, texting, and all that? Because it all requires resources. Sit down, plan together, prioritize, and don't forget, without communication, it's easy for the relationship to dwindle.
To the listeners, I'll be giving, or Dr. Love will be giving his numbers, because I have so many questions for you. Someone dated and be intimate for twice, but the guy does not, never ejaculates and all that, suspecting that there's a problem, maybe past times and all that. Someone else wants a comeback from the girlfriend, or forgetting someone is appreciating you. So just give us your number, where to find you, and then the rest we take it to social media.
I want to appreciate our listeners, and I also want to appreciate Shiro for taking the initiative.
Yes, by the way, it was a bold step.
I would really encourage listeners. This is a very, very brave step that Shiro took. And don't stay away. Don't stay there with your problem. We are here. We can help you. You can talk to me. You can talk to Kate, and she will always connect you to us.
Yeah.
And my number is 0723 793 414. I also want to appreciate all those listeners who've been texting me. I'm very happy. There are so many texts that have been coming to me, and I've tried as much as I can to respond to them. And I'm happy that they are, reporting good feedback, that they feel helped. So basically, I would encourage them. Only make sure you communicate to me or with me during official hours.
That's
Please.
true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shiro. We Thank you.
Yeah,
That was a
you're
bold step.
welcome.
Thank you so much, my Dr. Love. The number is 0723 793 414, 0723 793 414, or take the interaction to the Vobix Palace, like the page, and then let's keep interacting. Till next week, what are we having next week on Wednesday?
Next week we're gonna have we're gonna be talking about what motivates men to love ladies. That is gonna be our topic.
Okay, so we'll try and get a listener. If you're interested to be one of our listeners, just go to our page, Vobix Palace, and talk to us. Then we'll get back to you. Thank you so much for keeping it Hero Drive. I'll be coming exactly 3:30 with Doom News.